everybody, and welcome to the big show. I'm your host, Jerk, and thank you for joining us. How's everybody doing? Well, I hope. I know a good portion of the United States and some of Canada, happy Canada Day by the way, are suffering their way through a heat wave. It isn't too bad here in sunny Los Angeles, but I can empathize as heat and Jerk are like water and a witch. It melts me. But speaking of hot, let's get our guest out here before they turn the green room into a sauna. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the premium Tier 6 US battleship and silent star of the current update. Let me introduce you to my little friend, Florida. Florida, man. This ship slipped silently into our ports with much attention being thrown on the Georgia and the Dreadnought line, but let's just forget those because look at this camo. Hoochie mama is this hot, covered in gold, smoothed over the Art Deco tip. This is Mr. 305. Well, maybe Mr. 356, because we've got a whopping 12 356mm guns that have very good velocity and sometimes rock days of thunder. I will say there aren't any of those eye-popping events in this match, much like the confounding weather in Florida. Of course, the biggest weakness of this ship is its honking big 25mm bow, which can be overmatched by any Tier 7 battleship, all but one Tier 6 battleship, and quite a few Tier 5 battleships. So while it is often tempting to put on some roller skates and twerk to some 2 Live Crew because you are so flossed out, it is better to approach most situations like Cool Hand Luke. Now, everyone knows that if you're going to throw a booty base party, you gotta make sure you got the right people there to get the bottles poppin'. So on our flossed out yacht, we've got Luther Campbell, Fresh Kid Ice, and Brother Marquis. And while the match is going to play out like many of the Two Brothers matches do now, which is to say camping in one spawn for the majority of it before losing one's patience, driving down the middle, there are going to be some excellent plays made by randoms on the blue team, so I'm definitely going to make sure to give props to our freaking Heat the Atago, who is going to really help make this happen, and give an award to our friendly Edward Shoresy hands, who may get a Taco Bell play of the game for their sacrifice and courage later. But for now, we will do circles like we're on the Talladega Raceway. My top speed on this ship is around 25 knots, so definitely not a flanking battleship, or I would be checking out the beaches on the Keys out west. But as it is, we're just going to get some beach blanket bingo going on while we cruise along the sands of Kokomo and see if our teammates begin to push this flank. And speaking of Kokomo, everyone knows when you get there, you gotta take it slow. And that really applies to our reload here. It is, without a doubt, a long one. 33, 34 seconds, and while you could throw on Willis Lee and get inspired by what's-his-face to get it lower, you're still going to be around 28 to 30 seconds, but with noticeably less accuracy. And we've already established that gold is a soft metal, so you really don't want to get this brawling. I will say that my position in this ship is not where it should be. This is where the Synop to my left should be, but you can't control what your teammates do, and in the words of Gainesville native Tom Petty, no I won't back down. But I will try to keep myself positioned to be able to contribute in sinking this G-Wagon while trying to take as little damage as possible. And that's a lot of what you have to look forward to in this mid-game of this match. Going forward, getting off a shot, reversing to reload, and just trimming down the red team's hit points like they're shrubs in Tampa suburbs. Well, it would appear that our team on the east has won their side and are now pushing up Cocoa Beach towards the red base. So we should try and match them to create a crossfire. Now, unfortunately for them, their battleship support has decided that at their whopping 18 knots, it would be best for them to not go up the middle, but instead come all the way over here to the west side because they heard there was a party. And without battleship support, our cruisers over there are going to run into some serious issues. I would like to be able to send some shots over to those cutie cruisers over there, but the red team is getting more and more compact. And because of the way most people go for the straightest line towards their objective, we aren't really getting any angles on ships to do massive damage, and that is frustrating. And I thought about loading HE to try and get some fires, but the reload being as long as it is, I would just hate to have access to a broadside for once and not have the right shell type loaded. Though I will tell you, the HE on this is like a 25% fire chance and is very capable of getting the attention of red team members. So we just continue to grind this match out, salvo after salvo, as the red team winds closer and closer together, trying to create a gravity well which will transport them to another map. Now, we've only sunk 3 ships on the red team, and I haven't sunk any ships myself yet. It's no secret this is a Kraken game, but would a Floridian really be happy with anything less than a 6-pack? No, they wouldn't. So we will be getting a 6-pack, which means I will sink every last ship in this game. Do I deserve all the sinks that I'm going to get? Probably not, but most of you have been around long enough to know my philosophy towards that, which is get guns off the map. You don't know when they will have another shot, or heal, or get within range for will to rebuild, so when you can, you sink somebody. And because you cannot have yang without yin, you gotta be cool when it goes the other way and not turn into some Tasmanian devil yelling at your teammates for stealing kills. A playboy such as yourself takes it in stride and pours another pina colada. I could be shooting at that low health guys now instead of these cruisers, but if I can get cruisers gone, then I am going to get them gone. Unfortunately, RNGesus is definitely punishing me of little faith today by only granting overpins, which is always enjoyable, but somewhat expected at this range because the velocity of these shells are very good. I've gotten Citadel shots on Bismarcks at 16 kilometers, and speaking of Citadels, I just got touched by the champagne across the map, who is no doubt pissed off that I did not invite them to the party. And with no other targets to choose from, I yoink all the ships and I make them cry.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship. Problem solved, sir.
It is only a matter of time before someone on the red team, or maybe the blue team, has the bright idea to go up the middle. Kind of like the bright idea our destroyer had of getting on the red base so all the radar cruisers knew where they were and could send them back to port. We could really use some spotting right now so we could know how the red team is positioned, but without eyes available anymore, myself and the Ataga will creep forward and peek through the blinds and see what we can see. And it's an Ochakov. And if there were any justice in this game, I would have deleted them. But instead, my shells bounce. Our Atago gets them one shot, but they drop spot. And unspotted, they will stay despite my attempts of trying to convince them to shoot at me again by putting out this single fire that they get on me. So I'm holding my shot here because I was like, well, maybe they'll shoot again. I know it's such a tempting target. Okay, well, let's just put it out and see if they won't shoot one more time and our Atago can finish them. But you know what? The Ochakov refuses to fire again. Oh well. Even with the potential of getting a triple fire in one salvo. Right? Let's put it out. And don't you want to shoot again? I mean, I am spotted. They have me spotted, but anyway. It's pretty frustrating because it looks like we're going to lose this match right now. I'm facing the wrong way. We don't have any eyeballs. Their remaining battleships overmatch me, so I'm going to turn around and see if we can't somehow pull out a win. The Champagne was last seen headed towards the berthing canal, so I'm going to get this turn in and head back that way before we get a rude interruption, and that is going to be in Iowa. Full health right in front of me. I will also take this moment to point out that the Colorado, who has spent the last 4 or 6 minutes coming over to this side, is finally in a position where they could shoot any of the ships that are no longer in the game. But our Edward Shoresy Hands is watching the center channel, and that's going to be key. I've most likely been talking over it, but they have been requesting support, and I am fully aware of what is happening. It looks like our Togo is as well, so we're headed back to the base. But hello, there's the Ochakov. I'm guessing they're going to go forward, even though they're stopped, so we aim a little bit forward, and we're going to get our second ship sunk, and we're going to see some questionable choices now. The Iowa doesn't shoot me, and I think they instead are going to shoot at the Otago, which, you know, it's kind of understandable. It's hard to not take it personally when you take a torp on the bow and have been set on fire. Either way, what was that Two Live Crew song I said earlier? Oh right, it was I yoink all the ships and I make 'em cry. So we get this rear turret around here. And our Colorado just shot HE. They would have had that, but there goes the rear turret. And there is ship number 3 at, what are we at, 66,000. And here comes the Champagne, full health. And this is where we're going to see the Taco Bell play of the game by Edward Shoresy Hands here. You see the torps get dropped? Now, I don't know, it's hard to tell because we don't have replays where we can see. I don't know how that Champagne allowed that Shores to live that long, but either way, getting those 3 torps on there, that's pretty key. I mean, we may have been able to sink them otherwise because they're going to come out flat broadside, but either way, let's get our line ready again. I yoink all the ships and I make 'em cry. Alright, so there's 4. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to get my first Kraken in the Florida. If I can get this Mayoko. And then I realized, wait a minute, we're being capped? There's got to be, oh right, there's a Fiji on their team still. Okay, well I can definitely take that out. Alright, so let's get our turrets turned around here, and we should be able to one-shot this Fiji. That looks real good. And oh, just overpens. Well, in that situation, I am going to need to go ahead and activate my evasive maneuvers consumable, which makes me invincible to torpedoes. Wait, I don't get a consumable that just makes me invincible? I actually have to play the game smart? Huh. I'm going to need to talk to Ouija about that, but this Fiji is now giving me an angle I can work with, and I want to hear everybody say, hey, we want some cities. And there we go. Kraken 252 in the Florida. That's right, 252. We skipped one of them, which it's in the Iwaki. You guys might want to see that. It is a clean sweep of the entire red team, but I figured we should get this review kind of video done first. And here's going to come our 6-pack because Florida, me love you long time.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Alright, let's see the scoreboard. 2,359 XP for a good game. But props to the Otago for doing some work and the Shores for getting that torpedo strike off somehow. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you prefer oranges to peaches, hit like. If you prefer prunes to plums, hit dislike. Questions, comments, tales of when you first heard 9 Inch Nails while living in Tampa. Oh wait, that was me. Leave them down below, and if you want to see me clean sweep a team in the Iwaki, you might want to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll get back out there for another one soon, and we'll talk then.